wondered why some people can write a book in 30 days and some other people takes 30 years? Welcome to the Own Your BS show, the place where we help you to strengthen connections, conquer challenges, and claim your messages. I'm Cindy Tian, and in this episode, we'll be diving into the realities of writing as we explore authorship, the lessons learned, and everything in between. And with me today is my co-host, Dr. Maxine Teo, who will be sharing these gems through the chapters of her life. And it brings me so much pleasure to introduce this great friend of mine. So she is a human psychology expert who transformed workplace performance. She's also a dynamic, multilingual speaker and performance coach, as well as a global expert who bridges cultural gaps with finesse. So a very warm welcome, Maxine.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Cindy.
I am so happy to be with you today. And thank you for coming. So, Maxine, before we dive in, right, I really just want to share with our audience what I love about you. I think I've known you for more than 10 years now.
Oh, yes. A
the
decade.
speakers industry. And I remember when I first met you, the warm energy that you brought, your ability to make people feel very comfortable with you. Over the years, we've had really candid conversations and we share our dirty little secrets.
Bombastic side-eye.
But I think what really blows my mind is your ability to sort of switch languages, like you're changing channels. I've heard you speak and heard you train. And I just thought, wow, from the Mandarin to the Cantonese to the English. So I think that's really sort of like my first question for you. So what's the story behind your language superpowers?
Oh, thank you. I do think I'm blessed in that department. I think I will definitely give credit to my parents because my father spoke very fluent Mandarin and my mom spoke very fluent English, and their common language was Cantonese. So I picked up Cantonese in recent years when I needed it for work. So I realized I could switch very quickly because I grew up with that kind of environment, hearing different languages and speaking to my father in 1 second, next moment, turn to my mom and explain it in English. So I think I had many...
It takes a very quick brain to be able to do that.
I didn't realize it was a superpower until I impressed people around the world. Like, how did you just do that? I was like, I grew up doing that. So I would definitely give thanks to my upbringing.
Your parents and your upbringing. Beautiful, beautiful. So, today we're going to be diving into book writing, which is kind of like a bittersweet symphony. I think a lot of people want to write books, but they struggle with either starting or finishing. So here's a quick question I want to ask you. Just make a guess, okay? What percentage of people do you think say that they want to write a book but never start? Just make a wild guess.
I think 80%.
Yes! Oh my God!
Oh, really?
Yes. It's 81%.
Oh, I'm good. That was totally a wild guess.
81% of people say that they want to write a book but they never start.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Super interesting, right? And I do want to kind of share, and very guilty, I'm actually shamelessly part of that statistic. And I've been talking about wanting to write a book since forever. I think my first time was in 2018. So I got inspired by people around me and I decided that I want to write a book. So I went around with my swagger, go to people and say, hey, I want to write a book. So I told my family, told my friends, told my colleagues, and everybody was like, okay, Cindy, I'm going to support you, I'm going to be with you.
Great.
And 6 years down the road, I look at my laptop and my document still says chapter 1. But a little plug. I've already finished the final chapters of our manuscript. So I think hoping to publish in 3 to 6 months. So thank you.
Oh, wow.
So what I do want to say is that, very often we want to do something, but life gets busy, we get lazy, and then we forget the whole purpose of why we're doing this in the first place, right? And then I see people like you, whom I meet every once in a while, and you're telling me things like, oh, I wrote my book in 30 days. Or I just went to Batam and finished 50% of my book. So my question to you is this, how do you do that? Where did you get your motivation?
Thank you. I wish I could say that I'm a naturally motivated person, then I'll be lying. Like everyone else, I procrastinate. In fact, my very first book only happened, as I call it, my book baby, was finally delivered after I conceived it 15 years before that. So I was sitting on it and life gets you, right? You have so many things to worry about. The motivation for both books are very different. I have written and published 2 books so far. The first one, apart from my mom's nudging for 15 years, well, it took my mom 15 years, so it wasn't exactly...
It took your mom 15 years or took you 15 years?
It took my mom 15 years. And I attribute it to her because she has been saying it to me, so it's in my subconscious mind. But what gave me the push was one day when I was in this place where I went for a radio interview. And I met a fellow speaker walking out of the studio, and she was holding a book in her hand. And I asked her, what are you doing here? She said, oh, I just did a talk show on my book that I just launched. I was like, wow, that's so cool. And she handed me her book. She said, this is like my name card. And that was the moment when I went, wow, that is so cool. If I have a book, when I meet my clients, I meet friends, instead of the typical name cards or just connect on LinkedIn, I can just present my book. How awesome will that be? And I remember that same night I went back, I re-looked at all my contacts, which 15 years ago, over time, I've met editors, I've spoken to different publishers, and I called the one that whom I felt most resonating with, and immediately I said, let's meet up. I am going to write a book. And I did. So that was the first book's reason behind that. So everyone will have a different hook. For you, I'll be curious to also know what was your hook. Right? Before I talk about my second one, maybe you tell me about your motivation.
You know, this is interesting, and I like how real your motivation is. I mean, the fact that you kind of bump into another person, you know, reminders. And I think mine was very much about the fact that, hey, you know, I want to build this personal brand as a speaker. So I thought, you know, how can I create thought leadership? I think just penning down my thoughts, what are my views, and also to ask myself, how can I build subject matter expertise around a certain topic? I got certification on that topic, which is on, you know, emotional resilience, and I thought, you know, what are some of my own life stories that can bring in to share? Because, you know, for the first, honestly, I think 35 years of my life, I was really messed up, and I think a big part of it was because I was so lacking in emotional resilience. So that's why I wanted to write about it. Yeah, so you know, I love what you said about even just bumping into someone else, right? Yeah, sometimes it could be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be like a godsend, wow, boom, motivation,
like a moment
right?
of like,
and it got me thinking like the people that we hang around with can either kind of light a fire in us, or sometimes you can just let it die. So be very careful who you hang around with. So, you know, I like that reminder that your mom gave you, and my own reminder, you know, came from a very funny area. So I remember when I first started wanting to write a book, I went to this cafe near my place, and I thought, you know, I'm just going to get some quiet time there. So I went into that cafe and I spent the whole day there and started typing. And there was this auntie in the cafe, and then she came to me and she said, whole day on the laptop, what are you doing? She asked me that, you know. And very proudly, I just went to tell her, I said, auntie, I'm writing a book. I was so proud of myself, you know. Then she said, good. She said, and I did that for a few months. Off and on I went, and sometimes I disappear. 1 year later, I bumped into her again. And then she asked me, you still writing your book? Then I went, yeah, I'm still writing. So long already, haven't write finished. So I remember I felt like, oh my God, that was the time where I felt so called out by an auntie, right?
A stranger for that matter.
A stranger. But she really kind of like put that thing in me as to why am I taking so long to write? It's because I had a lot of, I think, other areas that, you know, I was struggling with, which we'll talk about. But a couple of quiz, okay, and this is for the viewers as well. I think this will be quite interesting. So where did J.K. Rowling, author of Harry Potter, wrote ideas of her book? A, in the bus while traveling to work, B, on a napkin, or C, at a coffee shop?
Wow. The coffee shop would be too much like you. I think she wrote it on a napkin.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, it was on napkin.
I like writing on napkins too.
It was on napkin. You do that as well?
Yeah, when I have an idea, I want to draw something, I'll just grab a napkin and draw.
Okay, very cool. So apparently she wrote initial ideas for Harry Potter on a napkin while on a delayed train from Manchester to London in 1990.
Wow.
Yeah, and the book went on to sell 120 million copies.
Oh, gosh.
Amazing, right? Amazing. So sometimes it's not the circumstances, but the determination, right? Yeah, the inspiration can come from anywhere.
Absolutely.
Second one. This is on Seth Godin, author of This Is Marketing. How many books has he published? A, more than 10, B, more than 15, and C, more than 20. Just make a wild guess.
Well, they're also close together.
Yes.
Oh, more than 10.
The correct answer is more than 20.
Oh.
Yeah, more than 20 bestsellers.
Oh.
Sounds like the lesson here, which I'm going to ask you the question in a while. Sounds like the lesson here is that the first book is just the beginning. So speaking of beginnings, Maxine, I know your books have been turned into powerful business tools. So tell us, how did you kind of like finally take that first step? And when did you decide that now is my time to write?
I think, wow, I've thought about that and I've talked about that when I launched the book. I think it was the year as well, 2020 was the year when I decided that I want to write a book. And I thought it was a perfect number. Coincidentally, it was the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. But as what many people might think, that I started writing a book during COVID. No, I started in December, deciding in December 2019. I started writing in 2020 and I thought, hey, I need a timeline to push myself. I'm those who thrive under eustress, no positive stress. If I don't put a timeline, it will be another 15 years, right? So I decided on the date. And the day has to be meaningful. So I thought I would coincide with my son's birthday, my real son, my human son. So this is the book baby and my real baby. So I thought we would have a double celebration. And that was, at that time, that's where I decided 8th of August in 2020. So that means I had less than 8 months, right? 7 months or so to write the book. And that really pushed me. And of course, I have a very good publisher and a very good editor who didn't have to wait for me to finish writing the manuscript before they reviewed. They reviewed chapter by chapter. As I finished, I sent it over. So it really sped up the process. So I think at the time I was very, very motivated. I told the world, I put on social media, I told everyone, I told my mom, Mommy, I'm finally writing. So I think that's where you say accountability. And after that, and plus I put in money. I paid my publisher, as put my skin in the game. So for all the different reasons, I just had to do it. So no turning back. And I did. I finished writing by early July and my books were published in mid-July. And then I launched it on my son's birthday.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
your son must be so proud of this.
Oh, yeah.
Proud of this, right? You doing this, it must be so special.
Thank you. He was partly happy for me, partly a bit unhappy that I shared his special day with another baby.
Was it at Mel's? I remember it was at Mel's place, right?
Yes, in East Coast.
But we have attended two of our book launches.
Yes, and the third one.
Looking forward to the third one soon. Yeah, very excited about that for you. Very excited. And I know you've already set a date, okay?
Yes.
So later I'll leave you to share that if you want to.
Okay.
And I think, it's just amazing how you sort of actually, I find that it to be very courageous, honestly, just kind of putting money, put some skin in the game, link it to a special date, and then telling everybody the accountability that I think sometimes a little bit of pressure can push us in a very healthy way as well. Yeah, so, I do want to just, bring us to another mini quiz, okay? So according to writing surveys, what do you think is the biggest dream killer for aspiring authors? Is it A, not enough guidance, B, writer's block, and C, finding the time?
I think C, finding the time.
Interestingly, the correct answer is actually B, writer's block. Apparently, 78 to 85% of writers experience writer's block. Which is a fancy term for procrastination. For you, which one do you think it's more of?
I think finding the time procrastination is also sometimes
very linked together, right?
I just don't think I have the time, so I'll do it later.
Yeah.
So for me, my first book was basically what I've been training and speaking on for 20 over years. So definitely no writer's block.
It's no writer's block?
Not for the first book. Okay. So it's all in the head, right? In fact, it depends on the topics you choose. If I'm writing fiction, like J.K. Rowling, I need inspiration on how crazy can Harry, what adventures.
The Hogwarts and all that, right?
Yes, then that's where you might get a block because you might lose creativity. But my book is not about creativity in terms of the content. It's really about real life experiences, what works. And of course, my focus is making complicated concepts simple. So whoever has read my book, not that I'm blowing my own trumpet, but it's so easily digestible, so easy to understand. So definitely I didn't choose that because I just thought writer's block is like an excuse. No inspiration, so I can't write. Choose a
Yeah.
topic that you can write.
Yeah. And that's a very good point, because they say that writer's block is just like a fancy term for procrastination.
Or just I have no idea what to write. It's like a very generic reason, but I guess that's why people chose that. It's easy to attribute it to
Yeah,
writer's
and it sounds sexy, right? I've got writer's block, I can't write. You know, interestingly, so I was just doing some reading about this. So a couple of procrastination, they say that usually comes from three main things. So in case you're thinking of writing and wondering what's kind of stopping you, the first one is no clear goals, which is we want to write a book, but we don't decide what's the purpose of the book, when we're going to finish it, link it to a special date.
Yes.
Or ask yourself, who is this book for? So it's like, you don't have a destination, so you kind of get lost in the middle. Right? And then the second one is the lacking of creativity. Like you're waiting for inspiration to fall, but actually when you show up, the creativity will show up, right?
Yes.
And then the third thing is a very common one, is the fear of imperfection. Yeah, and it says, what if I'm not good enough? What if I sound stupid? Maybe I should go and get feedback from someone else. So just curious, do you struggle with any of these at all?
Yes, the final one that you said, it struck a chord with me. Being a first-time author back in 2020, I wasn't sure if I'm good enough. I was actually, at some point, I was really worried, what if I published it and people read it, it's like, whoa, this kind of standard. I had those crazy thoughts. And I was really a bit apprehensive, because you might think you're good. I've been good in speaking and delivering verbally, but writing,
it's a totally different ballgame.
It's a different thing. And I don't have, the most I've written so far are like white papers and articles, but to write a whole book with like 30,000 words, I wasn't sure people would think it's good enough. So I had that fear. So after I've done the manuscript, at least according to my editor, my publisher, it was awesome stuff. And after I finished it, I sent my manuscript to renowned people, credible people to praise my book. And that's where my confidence built up. The comments who came back is like, wow, such an easy read, such practical tips. I was like, oh, okay, so I'm actually pretty good. And it really boosted my confidence. But prior to that, it held me back for a while. Like, should I even start? It's like confirming my stupidity if I publish work that people say is like, nah, it's not good enough. But I would really urge like writers out there who have this thought, you to really have faith in yourself. But like what I said, you could do a test drive, right? Ask people to read it first. If it's that bad, then you still have time to edit it before you publish. But yeah.
I love what you said, and this really brings us to the point about, actually confidence comes from taking action, right?
Yes.
When you take action, it just builds your confidence a little bit more. So that's a good one. And I struggled with the same thing as you, the fear of imperfection. Yeah, like what if I write something and people just think, wow, this kind of thing also can, the local lingo, right? What if people think I'm dumb? What crap am I writing here? I remember I was so stuck with it. I remember sitting in front of the computer and I kept editing like the same paragraph over and over again. This is not perfect enough, and it was just kind of eating into me because I know I was wasting time, and there was a lot of this inner struggles. And at that time, I happened to go into YouTube and I listened to this Christian preacher. His name is Pastor Stephen Furtick. And it was a very short video, but I remember him saying something that really struck a chord in me. And he said this, he said, the story you've lived, the wisdom you've gained, what you know now is enough. So let go of what you think you need and start with what you have. Wow, that really stuck with me. And even until today, I would remind myself of that when I do any form of creative work.
I love that. It resonates with me. I think at some point when I was, especially my second book, which we will talk more later, it's about the 4 generations. And to me, it's like my book will be obsolete 50 years later because these generations will have been over. But I told myself, it would be useful for people to know how it was like back then. So what I know now is good enough. Don't worry about what's going to happen in future. So it crossed my mind, and I tossed it out of my mind, and I went ahead with it.
So focus on
agree.
the now,
The
right?
now.
Maybe it's useful for the
Yes.
people now. It might not be useful for people next time. Who
Yes.
knows? Yeah, I mean, if you're going to think about
That's the
100 years,
future.
you know, it'll never stop, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So speaking of enough,
Yes.
you know, most people after writing a book, they're just happy to check it off their bucket list. Like,
Done.
in fact,
That was my
that's
idea.
what I'm thinking. Also, I'm like, I'm never going to do it again because it's so difficult. But you decided to continue with part 2, and then now you're working on part 3. So
Yeah.
tell us what sort of inspired you to continue doing it, because the first one took 15 years.
Yes.
But apparently the second and third one took a shorter time.
Oh, thank you. I think again, I link back to what I said earlier on. All my reasons, the hooks for the 3 books are quite different, and it could vary for everyone. So for the second book, it was a time when after I launched my book in 2020, and then came 2021. At the start of the year in January, I said, like Phineas and Ferb, like animated cartoons, right? They said, what am I going to do today? For me, it's what am I going to do this year? What will be the next high? Right? Another book, nah, not sexy. So I thought, hey, maybe I'll pursue my education. And that's where I decided that, hey, one day when I was listening to the radio, on the local radio in Singapore, and I heard the interviewer asking the interviewee, he was talking to her, and he went like, so Dr. Charlotte, what do you think? So Dr. Charlotte he went, doctor. And I was like, oh, I've been on that show before. The interviewer addressed me as just Maxine. Then I started visualizing, if he calls me Dr. Maxine, I love the sound of it. I know it's a very bimbo reason.
No, I love that. I love how real it is. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would love to say that it's to achieve my self-actualization needs. And no,
To save the world.
save the
peace.
world peace. No, my number one reason was it sounds good. So that same night, I remember it was in early February 2021. I went home and I started Googling the options, and I looked. So fast forward the story, I found it was still during COVID, so studying face-to-face was challenging. So I took an online degree course, and that's where so I had my basic degree like 25 years ago, and I needed like a master's and then do a doctorate, right? So I needed 2. So the university offered the option, instead of writing a normal thesis or dissertation for the doctorate, we could publish a book. I said, that's it. I'm going to write my second and third book. So that's where...
Oh, so both are part of this.
Yes,
okay,
both are part of it.
Super cool.
Yeah, so my second book was my thesis for my master's, and the third one, which later on is for my doctorate. So it all happened super fast. And I thought, why not? I would have created new products.
Yeah.
At the same time, I would be able to achieve my conferment of doctorate, and it's a win-win. So that was my motivation. So I started really studying hard and doing 2-3 assignments a month. And I finished my doctorate really fast, as well as in between for my master's. So there you go. It's not a standard reason of, I found the determination within myself. I need to outdo myself. No, that one I said for my motivational keynotes.
Put it in your resume.
Yeah.
Not in on your BS.
Official reasons. But since here is all my BS, I'll tell you it was for very bimbo reasons.
No, I mean, I love that. I love how real it is, right? I mean, the fact is that, we are all people who wants to kind of, do things also to, of course, we want to try and serve the world, but I think a big part is also how can we do work that makes us feel happy? How can we do work that also serves the greater good for our career in the long term as well? Yeah. So I love how you created your own rules. I thought that was smart. That was very efficient. And I think you made it fun for yourself.
Yes.
Right? It's not boring at all. It got me thinking about productivity. So I was reading this book about productivity by Ali Abdal, and he talks about making tasks enjoyable instead of powering through them. What are some things you do to make writing enjoyable for yourself?
I think for me, first of all, is the environment where I write. I stay alone most of the time, and people will say you have all the peace and quiet of the world to write your book. But no, at home you're too comfortable. You just like, it's TV time, dinner time, sleeping time. So for my second book onwards, first book was, I had no time to procrastinate because I already set the date and I had a few months. But for second book, I traveled. I remember going for short trips to Koh Samui in a hotel, our type, and even for the third book now recently, I went to Batam that I shared with you. So when I'm in a different environment, it makes writing fun. Right? I can literally type anywhere, right? Find a corner in a cafe anywhere in Singapore. But the number one is I choose fun environments to make writing fun. Okay. Another reason to make writing fun is what are you going to write about? It can be writing about, everyone can write the same topic, but it's how I do it. So I decided to do, instead of just secondary research quoting different books and sources, I adopted the primary research where I have to interview people. So I bought equipment, cameras, sound system, all very handy small ones, which you have seen before. And I also, for my second book, I interviewed different generations because my second book is about the multi-generation in the workforce. So the whole process, it becomes like having interviews with people, with the cameras, light, action. And it just makes the whole process a lot more fun than gluing your eyes in a computer and extracting sources and quotes. Yeah, so I think it's the environment as well as how you gather your content that made it fun for me.
Very nice. And who says that writing has to be mundane, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, who says that, research can't be fun? And you actually made it fun for yourself, changing the environment, going for holidays. I don't know if I can do that because, I am so attached to my 2 fur kids at home. But one of the things I did was because, I'm one of those people that, when I look at the computer too long, I feel like I want to go and take a nap, go and lie down. So I thought what I would do to make my environment a little bit more fun is just to bring my dog into my workroom with me. So she'd come into the workroom and then sometimes she will fall asleep and then she will start like dreaming and she'll like that, and then once in a while she'll roll around. So just looking at her do goofy things, and then every now and then I'll hear like, "Put!" She actually farted,
Oh my god.
So all these kind of like goofy things actually kind of lighten the environment and the vibe a lot more. And I thought that it actually made me a bit more productive. So
lovely.
I thought that, when we can strategically manage our emotions, it can significantly, influence our productivity.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's a fun way.
So I wanted to ask you, because I know that your third book is about emotional literacy. Yeah. So what have you sort of discovered about yourself and your emotions in this entire process?
Oh yeah, it was a very emotional experience indeed. I think in my third book, why I came to that topic is actually my very first topic that I ever wanted to write about back in 2005. So when I told you 15 years ago I had a book idea, it was about relationships and emotions. Yeah, but I didn't think I had the maturity and the content to write. Like years before that, it would be 20 years now already, right? So I wrote on sales, which I've been training for many years. So when I revisited it, I think it still was an emotional process because I decided to focus on the top 12 most uncomfortable emotions. Because humans have so many emotions. According to Plutchik's Wheel of Emotions, there are 27 types, right? If I'm going to write all of that, I will take a few years. An encyclopedia as well. So I decided to choose the top 12 Google's most searched emotions. And of course, I included emotions that I was afraid to connect with because I've spoken fondly about my parents and they are already not here with me. So when I was writing, I was thinking, emotions, they do affect one's work performance. And if my book can help to connect with my audience or with my readers, that instead of just shying away or thinking that uncomfortable emotions are bad, they are not good or bad. They are actually there to give us a signal to tell us what to do. So I think through interviewing doctors, medical experts, and working professionals who have been through all these kind of emotions and recommended ways to overcome them, I learned a lot myself. I managed my grief as well, managed my frustration, anger. I think it was a very healing process for me as well. So I think out of the 3 books, this one is the most emotionally provocative for me. It wasn't just a quick and dirty 1 month.
Yeah, like a
churn
low
out.
download, right?
Yeah, my first book was really download because I thought rather than keep my knowledge in my head, I wanted to leave a legacy behind. So that was very quick download. Second one was also insightful where I interviewed different generations. But third one went deep, right? And I have spoken with people who even broke down during the interview. So I was like, oh, that's really a very emotional experience. But I think I'm excited to see it come to fruition this year because I think it will really benefit not just people around the world, but myself as well.
Yes. And I think writing this book, it sounds like it's a very, when you say healing process, very therapeutic, very cathartic, right? Because you're also kind of reflecting on the things that made you feel a certain way. And I think this process would also help you to sort of dig deep and heal certain parts of you. Yeah. And thank you for being open to share.
You're welcome. So
Very,
my voice will
sensitive
crack just
part.
now.
But I think a lot of people need to know that I think we're kind of living in a very emotional world. Even though in the corporate arena, people would say, leave your emotions at the door. I honestly don't really think that there's such thing as leave your emotions at the door. I think that we all make emotional decisions, but then we use logic to kind of, justify it. I do want to ask you a question.
Sure.
If you had to hire a new team member, would you prioritize this person's EQ or IQ?
Oh, definitely EQ. IQ, I have AI to support me.
You have ChatGPT and Claude to support us.
Yeah, so many tools, and you can just hire subject matter experts. Can be short-term help, but someone whom I'm gonna hire as a long-term, definitely people skills. Someone who can feel emotions.
Yeah, EQ, right? So the
Yes.
EQ people skills, right? So interestingly, I was just also reading a little bit about this. So some surprising EQ insights for those of you listening. 71% of employers value EQ in an employee more than IQ. 71%. Yeah. The second one, companies prioritizing EQ are 22 times more likely to outperform their competitors year over year. Yeah, and the third one is 90% of top performers have high emotional intelligence. That's a whole lot of percent, right? So I think your book is in a good space. Yeah. So I'm glad we are kind of doing this, One thing I often hear is that I could be sort of making assumptions here, but what I've noticed is that very often we hear people say things like, I don't feel emotions. I can't identify what I'm feeling. So, what are your thoughts about that when people say, I don't have emotions, I can't feel my emotions? What are your thoughts about that?
I definitely have friends who constantly say that, and based on my observation, they are the more emotional ones. I think sometimes we say these things to mask our feelings.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care. Actually, they care. Whatever, I don't care. No, they care.
Yeah.
So I think every human being, we have definitely, we are emotional to different degrees. But it is true that some of us are more rational than the others. Some of us are more emotional. Even just gender-wise, we stereotype that, right? Women are more emotional, men are more logical, men from Mars, women from Venus, and all that. But based on my observation and people I've worked with, people who keep saying that they have no feelings or they can't tell is they don't know how to express it. They do not know how to deal with uncomfortable emotions. So they mask it by brushing it off by saying, I don't feel anything. So I think they are the ones who are all the more who need help, who need support, who need ways to decode, which is why my book, the subtitle is Winning Strategies to Decode Your Emotions and Turbocharge Your Work Performance. So yeah, I think whoever's listening to this and you tell yourself you don't know how to show feelings, I think perhaps some support would help to help you decode those feelings.
Exactly. And just having the language in the first place is going to make it very helpful, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and if I think back about myself years ago, I used to think that I am quite emotionless because I would not cry. Even when there's disaster that strike, I wouldn't cry, So I was wondering, how come I'm not feeling anything? It's because I've trained myself to numb myself out of emotions. Because sometimes we go through things when we're young, right? And because we want to prevent ourselves from getting hurt.
Yes.
then we numb
We are
ourselves.
masking
But
it.
so actually I was emotionally constipated, lah, not that I'm emotionless.
That's a funny term.
And you know, when I started learning about emotional resilience, emotional intelligence, one of the things I've learned is that we need to first be able to identify where our emotion sort of sits at. So they say that there are three parts, right? So one is more of the head, where you actually start to, how you feel emotions in your head is you start to overthink, overanalyze, you start to think through every single process and decision. And people who are more head-centered tend to have more migraines and headaches. And then we have second one, people who are feeling emotions more in their heart. So think about the heartwarming feeling that you have when someone is kind to you, or when you have a loss of something, you actually feel heartache, you know? Yeah, so that is people who are more heart-centered, and you feel a bit more chest pains if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And then the last one is people who are a little bit more gut-centered, bodily-centered. So typically when they make decisions, it's more intuitive. Yeah, so they rely on things like butterfly in their stomach or like sinking feeling. Yeah, so where do you think you are more of in feeling your emotions?
Yeah, I love this breakdown. I think many of us are aware, but we didn't really see it in three different parts. I think for me, it's the gut. Yeah, the gut. As much as I like to think I'm more emotional, I feel in the heart. But I know there were situations where I'm not sure what I should do. I know my head will be so rational that I may not make the right decisions. And when I use my heart, I will be hurt, so I'm like guarding it. But the gut will tell me whether it's the right thing to do or not the right thing to do. I mean, take for example, I was just chatting about this with a friend yesterday. I was at a place with my son in Sentosa, and a lady came up to me carrying her young son, about 5 years old, and telling me that she lost contact with her husband and she needed help. And she asked me for to help me contact her husband, and whom we found out that he has gone home to the hotel. They are tourists. And
Okay.
logically, if I use my head, seriously, how will your husband go home without the wife and the kid, right? So my son was telling me, yes, they are the scam, right? Or rather, they are trying to con women, and don't believe them. My son is quite rational in that sense. But my heart told me that, oh, I'm a mother, someone carrying the child. And on top of that, she asked me for $50 to take a cab back. She promised to return me. I was like, never mind. Even if she doesn't return me, I take it as a good deed. If it's really that she's in trouble, I would feel guilty the rest of my life. But at most, she cons me of $50. So, but my heart was like, really irrational. So I decided to use my gut. And I remember I was thinking, the gut just gave me a nudge. It was like a lower part of my body just said, just do it. You know, it doesn't matter.
The sensing
A
feeling.
sensing. And despite my son's strong advice, I usually listen to my son. Mom, don't do it. No. And I give it to her. It's like, oh my gosh. And to fast forward the story, she managed to get back, and she went to a convenience store and she asked a local to transfer a PayNow to me, $50.
Wow.
So she did pay me back. I didn't know how she was going to pay me back, but she had her way, right?
Pay now back to you.
Yes, she paid in cash to a 7-Eleven staff. And then that 7-Eleven staff paid now to my phone number.
Okay.
So she found a way. She's a tourist and she doesn't have like our payment systems here. But I just sensed that she was not lying. I sensed that she really needed help. So I think generally when I'm in doubt, my head will be too logical, my heart will be too emotional. I just trust that the nudging feeling. Or for those of us who are more spiritual, what does God say to you?
Yeah.
It's inexplicable. Yeah.
I love that. And I think I need to learn more from you. I'm very not gut-centered. I cannot feel my body. I know it sounds very weird. I mean, sex, I can feel. But if you ask me, like, how is your body feel?
That would be sad if you
Hey, darling. Okay, so yeah, I mean, if you're asking me, sometimes my husband comes and then he gives me a massage, right? And then when the moment he gives me a massage, then I realize that actually my shoulder is aching. So I don't pay attention to my body, you see. So what happens is that for people like me, I tend to suddenly will fall sick because I'm not paying attention that something is wrong, something is aching, something is not right. I'm a little bit more heart-centered, but at the same time, not in a very healthy way because I'm quite emotional. Only when I learn to be in tune, then I realize that a lot of decisions are made using heart. So ideally, of course, we want to use all three, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so when somebody says that I'm emotionless, sometimes I think it's either they numb themselves or they haven't learned where their emotions live yet. So just because you don't feel your emotions doesn't mean it's not
Yes.
there, right?
Absolutely. You don't even realize it.
Yeah, you don't even realize that they're there.
Ah.
So, I love our conversation and I just want to sort of, pose you a little problem, a little problem time. So I know that many of our viewers are actually corporate leaders who might want to write a book and they want to tell their own story. So if somebody comes to you, a corporate leader comes to you and says, Maxine, I've always wanted to write a book, but between leading teams and managing deadlines, I really just cannot find the time to start. I don't have the time in the first place. What would be some top tips that you would give to them?
Yeah, these are very valid questions, and I've heard them in many conferences where people ask the question. Firstly, the standard answers I will share first, and I'll share my Maxine's version. Standard answers will get a ghostwriter. Means you have the ideas, you just give that person those ideas, and they run with it. And with artificial intelligence embracing us nowadays, there are many apps out there that can help you to write. So it's not like good old times where J.K. Rowling writes on a napkin, travel in a train, or for me to go to the beach to write. No, you can just put your ideas. Please craft 10 chapters. You can finish writing a book in like one day. But of course, as I mentioned just now, you want to enjoy the process and not just churn out a book for the sake of it.
You kind of want your own voice and your own brand to it,
Yes.
rather than getting AI to simply do it. I mean, unless it's a very generic book.
Yeah, and many leaders do that. They churn out and they boast about writing 20, 30 books with no reference to that famous man just now. Yeah, I have many of them whom I know. And when I read those books, they are just compilation of articles and what they have written, or whether it's radio interviews, they just transcribe it. They're not connected, they just pump. And they get technology to put it together for them, and they just stamp their name in front. And that would be the kind of book where I go like, che, I bought it, look at it, the book quality is cheap, the content is generic, not impressive. Whereas I put a lot of effort. Yes, you have both my books. Thank you for your support. The quality, the way I write it. So enjoy the process. So the Maxine's version, which I shared with you as a friend as well. I think number one is, I mentioned briefly as well, when you have decided to write a book, tell the whole world. You need accountability. I've already set the date. I think I can announce it now. May I? My third book.
Yes, please do.
So that I will
Give it all.
I have more accountability. 28th of June.
28th of June.
Yes. My second book was launched in May in 2023. It's to commemorate Mother's Day. My mom passed on in February in 2023. And of course, that year I wanted it on Mother's Day to pay tribute to her. My third book is based on intuition, about emotions, and my father was a very intuitive man. So I decided in June, and I chose a Saturday and to give myself more time, the last Saturday. So 28th of June, and do that, okay? Get accountability. Secondly, get a publisher, someone whom you can resonate with. Forget about famous ones and those who can do marketing for you. They will want your whole manuscript solid before they even bother to look at it. You need someone who can journey with you, someone who can nudge you, to encourage you. And of course, the third one is put some skin in the game. Your money has to go up. If you are doing crowdfunding and all that, which some authors do, then there's no incentive to work harder, right? It's just people are going to pay for my book. So you are going to put in the money and commit yourself to it. So these are my 3 strategies that work for me for the first, second, and third book. And hopefully many more books to come.
Amen. So I will hold you to that, okay? Hold you to that accountability. This is recorded already. And shout out to our publisher. I think we're the same publisher, so Kok Hua, shout out to you.
Yes, Kok Hua from Candid Creations.
Yes, that's right. So good stuff, So if somebody says, okay, I want to write my own book, And I don't want AI to write for me, and I really don't have much time. Any tips on that? How can one person, I know it sounds simple, but yet not always very simple, how can we find enough time? Do you have any tips on, sort of creating time in between?
Creating time to write a book without leveraging technology.
Yeah. Or minimal, minimal technology. Somebody still wants to write their own book with their own brand, their own thoughts.
Well, the recommended way will be, of course, allocating we have like power hour. This is one technique I learned when I attended a conference in Washington. It's called the Book Midwife. That was the name, American. That is her name. She's still alive. Okay, so she gave one tip and just every night put aside 1 hour or even just 30 minutes and a bit. And I tried that. It didn't work for me. I need to go in one shot. But for those who, if you have been busy and you just can't find time, I think the little pockets of time, it's the same analogy as saving for money, right? If you save a bit a day, at the end of the year, you would have had a pool of money. So if you write a bit a day, it might take longer, but it will be yours. It's your brand, your effort. Yeah, I think baby steps like that is better than I must wait for the day where I'm so inspired and I'll write 50% of my book. That's me, it works for me. But for most people, I think a bit a day is viable.
A little bit a day, right? Yeah. I like that for some people, it's you leverage on the momentum and you do it one shot, right? For example, you take a trip and then you do that. And then for certain people, it's bite-sized at a time. And for me, I don't really have, at least that's what I tell myself, it might be my own BS. I don't think I really have like this pocket of time where I can just, go for a holiday and write. And because, I just miss my fur kids too much. So one of the things that I had to do, I think one of my struggles was that I gave myself a lot of pressure that, hey, every day I must write for at least 2 to 3 hours. So when I cannot write the 2 to 3 hours, I just beat myself up and I don't even want to write in the first place. So I know that was very bad. So I'm kind of owning this BS until there was one of my, I would say sort of like a coach that told me, can you stop giving yourself this like arbitrary rules or not? Even if you cannot write for 2 hours, if you can write 1 hour, 45 minutes, 30 minutes, or even just 5 minutes, just do it. And I found myself being a lot more, I don't know why, there's this feeling of, okay, I don't have to write for that long today. Today's just 45 minutes. It just makes me feel a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
So sometimes, very often, it's like the pressure we give ourselves, right? So I think, again, this is very much about, emotions and being very aware of that. Yeah, so
Agree.
Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed my conversation with you.
So did I.
Now, we are going into the fun segment where we ask each other some quick fire questions. Okay?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so we're going to take turns to ask each other.
Okay, I prepared some for you too.
Yes, and we should aim to answer the questions, each question in 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. How many do I get to ask you?
5 each.
All 5. Okay.
That's right.
Me first.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Talking about writing just now, if you could write only using one word for the rest of your life, means this word has to keep coming up. What word would that be?
Oh gosh, I don't think I can say that word here. Okay, so it's very extreme lah. I'm gonna say shit. That would be the word.
Great. I mean, that's your BS, only your bullshit. As
I
you say.
think I have a lot of that in my book, and it's not SHIT, it's like SHIIIIT.
Oh,
It was that.
Okay. Oh, cool. That is very authentic.
Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah, okay.
My question to you, would you rather write while you're completely naked or while wearing a very skin-tight, hugging leopard print leotard?
Oh, naked for sure. I need to feel liberated. For the record, I have done that, right? Totally naked.
Oh my God!
I feel free.
I trust it's in a private
Oh
place,
yes,
right?
not in the open beach now.
Well, sounds very liberating. The creative juices will come in. All sorts of juices will come in.
Yes. Okay, my turn.
Okay, yes.
Talking about writing inspiration, what's the weirdest place that you would choose to go to get inspiration?
Weirdest place. Maybe not a weirdest place, but a weirdest activity I might do.
Oh.
I actually find that when I drink some beer, I can get quite inspired.
Oh, so you're gonna go to a bar, right?
I would just open up a can of beer and drink. And the more I drink, the more inspired I get. But I realize it's not very healthy because I cannot be drinking every day, right? So I realized that with or without inspiration, I still need to get it going. But yes, when I drink a little bit, which is very unhealthy, so don't do that, I actually get quite inspired. I find that a lot of ideas start flowing. Just the right amount of beer just gets me going.
Why don't you try naked? Because that's liberating.
Beer and naked at the same time.
And
I don't know what
it won't harm your health.
Okay. Are you an early bird or a night owl writer, and why?
Oh, night owl for sure. I think early bird, I feel like the rest of the day is going to catch me up when I start writing. So I have to write quickly. And then when 9 o'clock comes, I'll like, oh, phone calls come in, emails come in. But night, I feel like there's unlimited. I start writing at midnight. By the way, I did that. I start writing at midnight to 3, 4 a.m. And I still have many more hours before the world wakes up. So it's less pressure. I really give myself a lot of pressure by committing to the published date. So I prefer nighttime.
Okay, very nice, very nice.
Thank you. My turn. If your next book had to be written as a parody of a famous movie, which movie would it be?
Parody of a famous movie. Wow. I think it would be I don't know if this is not really a movie, but it's a Netflix series called Baby Reindeer. I don't know whether you watched that.
Yet.
It was quite famous last year in 2024. I think they won quite a lot of awards. And this series, it's very profound for me. When I watched it, I feel that wow, there's this different mix of emotions, because this show was really about this guy who's a bartender being stalked by a woman. Wow. And how it shows the interplay of emotions is that it's not straightforward, right? So very often we say, I'm happy. But this one shows how human emotions are really like I can be very flattered by you, but I can be also very disgusted by you. I could be abused by you, but I want to come back to you. So there's this interplay of trauma and emotions and the profound being of a human. So I thought that really blew my mind, that series. Yeah, go and watch it.
Out. Baby Reindeer.
Reindeer, but don't watch it at night because it's a little bit troubling. A little bit troubling.
Okay, that's a very deep area you want to go into. All right, your turn.
Would you rather write in a Starbucks at peak hours full of stinky teenagers, or on an aeroplane with a baby screaming next to you?
Oh, definitely in the plane with the baby. I can put on headphones and the baby doesn't stink, just screaming. But you say stinky, the smell will kill me. I cannot concentrate. And with the numbers itself, there's a bunch of teenagers versus just one baby. I can deal with the baby.
Okay. I would have chosen the sticky teenagers, because I feel that I could have gone there and yelled at them. Like, shut up! Okay.
Yeah, it's true. I don't have patience for any babies other than my own baby. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, my turn. What is the strangest snack you would eat while pulling an all-nighter if you should be writing all night long?
Oh, I love that. Fried pork lard.
Oh my gosh, that is really weird.
It's so weird.
Strange.
It's so yummy. And that time,
it's a Thai snack.
We went to, I think it was it Indonesia or something? And then we went into this very big, 3-story snack store. And there was this snack, it was just like packets and packets of fried pork lard.
Whoa.
I remember just eating it endlessly. And
how do you stay so slim eating so much lard?
1 month later, I started feeling my legs moving. And then I went to see a doctor. The doctor said I had cholesterol.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, that bad. Oh my god.
I think it was stress plus eating too much pork. My husband loves pork. He's always telling me, jiao zha. It's so bad.
Oh, it's so nice but so bad.
Yeah. So, okay. What would be the 3 words that you would use to describe your writing style?
Relatable, fun, and witty.
I like that. Relatable, fun, and witty.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. And my turn. If you could make your pen name something absolutely ridiculous, what will it be?
In my what?
Your pen name.
Pen.
Pen, P-E-N, like you sign off, like Lady Gaga, it's like a stage name, right? And your pen name, what would be, sound really crazy?
As in, give myself a name of someone
like
famous,
an
for
name.
example?
No, for example, if I have to, I can call myself like a example, Lady M, or I could call myself like Shakadukbadu M. Just something ridiculous. Yeah, means without
Let
people
me
knowing
see.
your real name, your pen name.
Oh wow,
Bi
never
Ming,
thought
as we
about
say
that.
in Chinese, right?
That's so cool.
Yeah, I thought it's a pretty fun question.
Yeah.
I was thinking for myself too when I was crafting this question.
I've always secretly wanted to be Samantha from Sex and the City.
Oh.
Samantha Sam Jones. I feel like among of the four, she's the one with the funniest and the most loud and the most original. So maybe that was the
It's
first
not
person that comes to mind. So
But
Sam,
for
Samantha
that.
Jones. Yeah, like that. Okay.
All right, yeah.
I think I'm going to ask you one more. So
Oh,
if
that
you
one more.
had to write the last book of your life,
Wow.
what would the book be about?
Okay, this is just a thought, right? I've been asked by many friends to do that, like a book of my sexcapades. Yeah. To pen down. I usually share my stories and adventures with good intentions to educate my female friends on the different ways, different flavors around the world. So they all nudge
Flavors.
me. Yeah, I always say like different dish, Italian dish, Japanese dish. I say rather than die with all that knowledge, maybe I would just leave some legacy behind if I have to write one book just for fun. And I'll use a pen name, not Dr. Maxine Teo.
This will be outside the trilogy, huh?
Yeah, oh, definitely. After my trilogy, I want to start something new. But it wouldn't be my next book. Maybe my last book of my life.
And it will be a pen name.
Yes, I will tell you.
I'm happy to be interviewed. This is so hilarious. Thank you so much for your time today,
You're
Maxine.
most welcome.
Really enjoyed our conversations, our
Me
connection,
too.
and how candid this is. And thank you for being on the show and for giving us a glimpse behind the motivation, the mindset, and the methodology behind your 3 books. So really
Thank
appreciate you. Where can people find you?
I think thank you for doing a shout out for me. I think firstly I can be connected on LinkedIn. My name, Dr. Maxine Teo.
Dr. Maxine Teo. Search for the DR first, okay?
Yeah, and if you like an autographed copy of my book, we can buy it from my website, which is maxacademy.com.sg. And of course, if for convenience, you're a different part of the world, you can get it from amazon.com. Also available in the Kindle and Apple Pages format. Yeah, so I think I've also gone beyond, thanks to Kok Hua, who reminded me in my first book, you are not a bookseller, you are an author. So the main reason I wrote a book is to be able to use it as my credibility builder, my name card, not sell like J.K. Rowling. So once I got that, I became at peace with myself, and I enjoy writing now rather than worry about the sales of it.
I love that. And this is what I'm going to think about for myself as well. So thank you. You've inspired me, and I've learned a lot from you.
Thank you. You inspired me too and entertained me a lot.
Thank you so much. So to our viewers, whether you're an aspiring or budding author, what's one key insight that you've taken away today, and what's one action that you're excited to apply? So remember, every great book really starts with a single idea and the courage to put it on paper. So thank you for tuning in to the Own Your BS show. I'm Cindy Tian, and I'll see you in the next episode.